everyone, thank you for joining me for this week's restorative session. We're going to start off in a cross-legged position on our mat. If you have a block or a large book to hand, then place that underneath the sit bones and get yourself into a comfortable position, making sure that the shoulders are back and down, that the spine is in a neutral position, and that we're bringing the shoulders away from the ears as well. We're going to place the hands either onto our knees or resting gently in our laps. We're going to start off by taking a big breath in and a long exhale out. A big breath in again and a long exhale. Last time, inhale and exhale. Let's place the left hand onto the heart and put the right hand on top. Taking deep breaths, feeling the chest rise and fall. Taking this time to check in with ourselves, to notice how we're feeling. Have a reflect on how this past week has been since the last time you joined me. Now what I'd like you to do is think of something that you feel grateful for. Whether that's a person, whether that's something that you are proud of that you've managed to achieve this week, or maybe it's something you own, maybe it's something that you've done. I'd just like you to hold that thing that you feel grateful for in your mind's eye. So close down the eyes and really focus on that thing that you are grateful for, whether that's holding on to that feeling that you get when you think of that thing, or providing an image within the mind's eye. Just try and focus on that one thing. So for me, that's my family. I feel grateful for my family. As the mind starts to wander, just gently bring it back to that item that you feel grateful for. Try and focus as well on how that makes you feel. Let's bring that positive energy into the body and into the mind. And in the process, letting go of anything that we may be holding on to. Any stress or anything that may be going on in your mind, or things that may have happened this week. Just let those go and focus on that item that you are grateful for, that thing, that person, that feeling, whatever it is. Just focus on that. Let everything else go. Iron out between the brows. Relax the eyelids, relax the jaw. We're holding on to it, but not so tight that it brings tension. I'd like you to try and keep this feeling of being grateful and this positive energy that you've brought into your practice. I'd like you to keep that as we move through the asana. Just keep that feeling, keep that person, that item, whatever it is, keep that in your mind's eye. And let's try and keep this as a nice positive practice today. As I'm sure you've heard us talk about before, there often is a bias in the human mind towards the negative. And so to take time each week or each day, if you can, to focus on something positive, something that you're grateful for, is really, really helpful. We're trying to retrain the brain so that rather than having the well-used path being that of negativity, instead having it as something that is positive. So rather than always going to worst case scenario or going to the negative reaction to something that happens in your day, instead you'll look on it as an opportunity to learn or an opportunity to grow, or just seeing the positive that there is in that situation. So these daily, weekly, monthly practices are really helpful in guiding you with that. Okay. You can start to relax your concentration slightly now. As I said, try and keep that with you, but we don't need to hold on to it quite so tightly now. I'd like you to take 3 big breaths in and long, slow exhales, even longer. Okay. Let's place the hands down. Let's just start to draw some circles with the nose. Taking it as slow or as fast as you want. And remembering, if you find a particularly sticky patch, then you can go back over it. Or take it slower. Let's go in the other direction now. Okay. Return the head to the center. Place the hands onto the shoulders and start to draw circles with the elbows. Same thing applies here if you find a sticky patch. Do what you need to do. Now the other direction. Hands down into the lap. Let's bring the ear to the shoulder. And the other shoulder. And keeping the image in my mind's eye of my family. I'm feeling grateful, for I am truly blessed. So lucky. Okay, let's bring the head back to the center. If you have a block or a large book underneath your sit bones, then please do remove it now. I'm going to come down onto all fours, starting with some cat-cow, my favourite of mine, you may have noticed. Spread the fingers nice and wide, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees, feet flat against the mat, looking towards the edge of the mat. We inhale up, exhale, tuck the pelvis under, round out between the shoulder blades. Move with the breath in your own time, inhaling and exhaling, moving, making those as big or as small as we want them to be. Maybe bring in some wrist rolls as part of it as well. Ooh. Working through the spine. Okay. Let's return to tabletop position. Bring the knee up and start to draw circles. Hip circumduction. Other direction. Okay, and the other leg now. And the other direction. Tuck the toes underneath, another favourite, toes pose. Sit bones to heels. Backs of the hands resting on the thighs, shoulders back and down, each toe in contact with the mat. Let's just sit into this for a few moments. Retaining that thing that we feel grateful for, bringing the mind back to that. We want to fill ourselves up with that feeling, gratitude, being thankful, and that positive feeling that we get from whatever it is that we're focusing on. So for me, having that feeling of love, pure, no strings attached, just pure love. Maybe you could bring a smile to the face now. Two more breaths in this position. Okay. Let's untuck the toes. Ooh. Let's come down into child's pose now. Backs of the hands against the mat. Letting the shoulders melt over the knees. Relax between the brows. Unclench the jaw, relax the eyelids. Okay, let's place the hands down. We're going to roll ourselves through into Sphinx Pose. So the hands are flat against the mat. We're using the back muscles to just slightly bring ourselves up. The legs are flat against the mat as well. Try and bring the shoulders away from the ears. Deep breaths. Maybe clench the glutes. Something else I'm feeling particularly grateful for today is that I'm able to do this position again. I've not been able to do Sphinx Pose for quite some time as I've been pregnant. My baby is now 7 weeks old. I can lay on my tummy again. Okay, let's relax ourselves down. Bring the cheek to the mats. Let's just release any tension that there might be in the back body. Okay, we're going to use the hands to press ourselves up. We're coming into tabletop pose temporarily, and then we're going to bring the right foot forward between the hands. Bring that back leg back a little bit further, and bring ourselves up into low lunge, dropping down into the front. Opening out the front of the hips. Shoulders back and down, away from the ears. You can either look straight forward with the drishti or between the hands. Maybe you want to bring in even more of a back bend into this. Maybe not. Let's keep that back leg engaged still as well. And drop further down. Okay, let's frame the foot. Bring that foot back and put the left foot in front instead now, coming onto the other side. Shoulders down, dropping into that front. Let's frame the front foot. Bring that back and we're going to drop down onto the sit bones. We're going to bring ourselves round to the right hand side for a gentle seated twist. So we're looking over the shoulder. And let's return to the middle. Reset ourselves. And coming on to the other side. We're not collapsing into this back hand, it's just resting there. And let's return to the middle. Reset ourselves once more. I'm going to bring the legs out in front. We're going to start off seated forward fold, arms up and exhale down. Remember, you can play around with where you want your hands to be, whether that's around the feet and the ankles, the shins, the thighs, wherever. Letting the spine relax. Okay, let's roll ourselves up. I'm going to bring the right leg in towards the left thigh, and then bring that left leg out towards the side. Half butterfly fold. And letting the spine round again. Not worrying too much about that today. I want to ask you at this point, have you retained that item, that person, that thing, whatever it is that you're grateful for in your mind's eye? And if not, please bring your attention back to it once more. Okay, let's roll ourselves up and come on to the other side. Okay, let's roll ourselves up. Coming through all fours to wide-legged child's pose. So taking the knees nice and wide, sitting the sit bones down towards the heels, arms out in front, forehead onto the mat. Engage the pelvic floor if you can. let's come back into tabletop position again. We're going to come into thread the nasal pose. So let's bring the right arm up towards the sky. And exhale, fold it underneath. Bring the ear to the mat. Shoulder on the mat as well. Maybe we're playing around with extending the left arm. Maybe we're having a play around with our balance. Bringing the left leg to the sky. Okay, let's come on to the other side, untuck ourselves, left arm towards the sky, tuck it underneath. Bring the ear to the mat, the shoulder to the mat. And if you were playing around with the extended version or with your balance on the other side, then please come into that again now. Okay, let's unwrap ourselves. Relax down. And coming onto our backs. Wrapping asana to begin with, knees to chest, gently rocking from side to side. We're going to bring our legs into a position that's where it's almost like the number 4. So we're going to bring the left ankle onto the right leg. Placing the hands behind the thigh and bringing it closer in. Feeling that stretch. So play around with how close you need that leg to be or how far away. A reclining pigeon. Maybe you can bring it a bit closer now. Nice. Okay, let's swap the legs. I'm particularly tight today. I've been doing some kettlebells. Got delayed onset muscle soreness or DOMS, quite bad right now. I definitely need this session today. Maybe you could smile now. Okay, let's go back to Asana. I love this one. It's lovely. And we're going to come into Happy Baby. So soles of the feet are pointing up towards the sky. We either have the toe lock or perhaps we've got our hands on our shins. We're bringing the knees down as close as we can towards the armpits, flexing the feet, opening out. Trying to keep the upper body in contact with the mat. Let's come back to asana. Okay, let's place the feet onto the floor. We're coming up into bridge pose, using the glute muscles to bring the hips up towards the sky. And just making sure that we can feel the backs of the heels with the fingertips. Trying to keep the knees so they're tracking in line, not opening out. Bring the hands together and bring the shoulders underneath so we're rolling on top. Okay. Let's bring the shoulders out from underneath, roll ourselves down. Up and asana again. Now, if you have a wall nearby, then please do get towards it now. If not, you can always place a block underneath you to assist if you've got one or large books. If you bring a block towards you, then just make sure that it's not on the tailbone or the lower back, it's on that bit in between the sacrum. So we could stay here, or if your legs are on the wall, then we're bringing them up. So you could just have one leg up, or you could have both. If you've got the wall, then we're just bringing the legs up the wall. Let's try and bring the sit bones in closer towards the wall if you can. Keeping that thing we're grateful for. And that warm, loving feeling passing through our body and our mind. Focusing on how that makes us feel happy or content. How nice that is. more breaths here. We're going to bring ourselves down, coming into corpse pose, so letting the hands relax out, to the feet relaxing out as well, letting go of any tension there may be in the body now, in the face, in the hands, in the feet, in the belly, just letting any tension go. Letting yourself just drip down into the mat, melting down. We'll take 3 big deep breaths. Now I'd like you to stay in that position for the next 5 minutes or so, just taking that time for yourself, letting any tension go, just focusing on relaxing, keeping that feeling of gratitude filling you up so you can take it with you for the rest of the day. If you have any questions or comments, as always, please do let me know. Please like, subscribe and share to any friends that you may have or family members that you feel would benefit from this practice. Until next week, the light inside me honors the light inside you. Namaste. Thank you.